So we're really having right now a bit of a lull, which is a good thing. It's always good. We're having a lull locally within the Auburn, Opelika, Lee County area with numbers down, statewide with numbers down, and even nationally with numbers down. But why are those numbers down? They're down because people are taking the extra efforts to do all the preventive measures, as well as the leaders are making the tough decisions to do things to mitigate the spread of the virus, thus resulting in lower numbers. Last week was a very good week. Numbers were down. We're happy about that. This week, it would be great if we have a week like the last couple weeks. But this was the week where we said if there was going to be a spike related to Labor Day, it was this week is when it was going to happen. So Sentinel testing is the ability to understand what the burden of disease could possibly be having. And that's particularly important with this virus, where more than 40% of people are asymptomatic. So it's very important to see what the burden of the percentage of people that may be positive. It's also a mechanism by its very name, Sentinel testing. It's a mechanism to see if you have an underlying problem or you are on the verge of a possible outbreak or a cluster or something to that effect, or area of concern that you may need to focus on. So Sentinel testing is an ideal way for us to get indications of that. And we really need members of the Auburn community to participate. And when you are asked, because it is voluntary, but when you're asked to come in for Sentinel testing, please don't brush it off. Make every effort to be part of this process. If you've had the virus, a lot of people are asking questions, well, am I immune? Based on what we know at this point, it appears that you have some degree of immunity for up to about 90 days is what the science is telling us, that you will have some degree of immunity, but it's still an unknown. It's still a scientific unknown. And as more time continues, we will work out what exactly the answer is. This virus has impacted all of us in so many ways. It's really disrupted our freedom, our life, various things that we love to do, we can't easily do anymore. And so it doesn't just affect us physically. We've been focused on avoiding the infection and having others get infected. The reality is that it also affects us mentally. Okay. So a number of us struggle, and that struggle can play out into all sorts of different signs and symptoms consistent with mental health issues. We're not insensitive to that. We know it's happening. And so we encourage people. We have a number of services available through the university, counseling, resources online, a 24-hour-a-day access to counselors. And so we encourage people to do that. We also encourage you to be sensitive to your own situation and your own mental health. There's so many ways you can socialize safely through Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, so many other ways. You can keep track of others, check in. Again, your mental health at this point in time, especially as we are in our 6th week of classes, is very important that you pay attention to it. A lot of planning has gone into the execution of having a successful football game with fans. Everything from social distancing, requiring masks, putting people in discrete groups and encouraging them to sit in discrete groups such as household members, friend groups, etc. Those mechanisms are considered right now to be the best possible practices, but how well they work we won't know. But if you just follow those guidelines and adhere to those guidelines, we can not just have a first successful game, we can have a remainder of a successful season for fan participation.